This is the chilling story of the Judea, a woman so grotesque that her feet stood backwards, her skin black and blue, her eyes bloody, and her mouth so dark it could convince you to do anything. A woman so full of hatred and pain that she vowed not to rest until all the people who hurt her suffered. And the story of how she became that way starts in a town near the mountains in ancient Southern Asia. In that very same town, girls were gifted to wealthy adult males to be their wives, no matter how young they were. They were expected to give birth to boys once their bodies were ready. And one of those girls was a 5-year-old Sarah. Indeed, Sarah became a good wife like her mother asked. She took care of her older husband. She was obedient. She learned not to speak because no one would listen to a child. And more importantly, she gave in to his desires even before she understood what it was. When Sarah turned 13, she gave birth to a little girl. The man and his family became upset, so they made her drink a potion created by the best healers in the town that will make sure she gave birth to a boy. A drink so dark that it stained her entire mouth. But the potion didn't work. At 15, her new baby was another girl. He force-fed her the potion again, almost drowning her with it. They forced the potion into her mouth day in and day out. Sarah kept drinking the potion until her mouth never returned to its normal color. At 18, she gave birth yet again to another girl. Sarah's husband and his family were so upset that they grabbed her by her hair, dragged her outside, and beat her up in front of everyone for not giving birth to a boy. She was so beaten up that she turned black, but nobody cared. They left her under the harsh sun while the neighbors looked. One of them took pity and helped her, telling her that there is a valley on the other side of the mountain where no one would care whether you bore a girl or a boy. In that town, they said, every woman is free to choose whom she will marry. You just have to pass through the trees across the mountain. Sarah took it as advice to get out of her horrible situation, and so the following night, despite her condition, she gathered all her remaining strength and took her little girls to escape and go across the mountains to be free. But her husband caught them sneaking out. He punished Sarah again. He beat her feet so hard that they broke and fell backwards. He beat her face so hard that her beautiful face turned grotesque. The pain and hatred started to become very visible in her bloodied eyes until finally she breathed her last breath. The family buried Sarah's body without even a prayer because they thought she didn't deserve it. Until one night, the most unexpected thing happened. Somehow, she came from the underground. She hunted everyone, starting with her husband. With her dark mouth, she whispered in his ear to beat himself up until he was black and blue. She whispered to her in-laws to stand under the scorching sun until they burned. She whispered to the healers to drown themselves in the same potion that was forced on her. She even whispered to the adult men who are marrying her young children to cut off their limbs. She lured the strong men from all the families back to her grave and sucked the youth out of them until they became old, dying men. Some tried to run away from her, but her backward footprints confused them and only led them back to her. Once she was done with her revenge, she turned back into her beautiful self and finally walked through the trees, across the mountain, far onto the other side where she could be free. Her footprints, though, still went in the direction of the town, so the people in it didn't know if she just kept her backwards feet and left for good, or if she had returned to torment more people who never learned their lesson.